My father, before he passed, said, you and your brother should work together again. I was like, pal, you know it's hard for 5 black men to do anything together?
If you would ask me, I would have been like, this man will be on TV once a week.
I tried that, but the networks had a whole nother idea.
Was it painful to watch like other people make your franchise?
Oh, it was like watching your child become a crackhead.
Marlon Wayans, thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
I saw you say, relatively recently.
I lie. Don't listen to any of you.
Okay, well, I saw you lie relatively recently.
And I lie.
If people could die and come back as somebody, come back as me.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm not sure if I've ever heard anybody else say that before.
Oh, because I don't think you've met anybody that was as happy as I was until like, come back as me before I turned 48. After 48, there's like a 4-year period where I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But my first 48 years, get my hands down, best life ever. I don't care if you was a billionaire, I don't care if you were a Rockefeller, I had the best life ever.
Why? Unpack that one for me.
I mean, I was blessed, man. I grew up with a mother that had 10 children who taught us to all love each other and had the greatest sense of humor. And she was just magical and whimsical and creative and hilarious. And when she was angry, nobody was angrier and funnier. We used to get her mad just so she could be funny. We used to call her Richard Pryor with tits. That's how funny she was and bitingly edgy. I had a father that no matter how much my mother cursed him out, and it was every day. To be married to somebody for 65 years and rarely repeat the same joke twice, you curse this man out every day, that's creativity. To look at the same thing and be like, what's new funny about you? That's genius. But he stayed with my mom no matter what. My father was God-fearing and, Jehovah's Witness, and taught us, the love and respect of God and law, and taught us to be good people and to love each other and to honor thy mother and father. And it gifted me with all these great siblings that even in their worst trauma was still hilarity. You know what I mean? They still poured into me, and challenged me. And I grew up in a house with not one legend. I was fortunate. I grew up in a house with 5 legends. Who can say that? Like, besides maybe Michael Jackson. I literally grew up in a house with everybody I dreamt to be like was living or sleeping in the bunk bed above me or was in the room across from me. Kim, Keenan, Damon, Sean. Then my other siblings, loved me and poured into me and protected me. I had sisters that fought more battles for me than my brothers could. My sister DeVore, I'd get in a fight with a bully, she'd grab the bully, and she was about 260 pounds with cornrows, and DeVore hit him. Now punch him in the face. No, DeVore, he's gonna be, you punch him, I'm gonna punch you. Bow! I knew Jamie Foxx, and I knew, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, all these people in comedy and all these legends. Bernie Mac, I was there to give Bernie, Damon gave Bernie his first acting gig on Mo Money. I had a wonderful existence. I went to Performing Arts High School, so I didn't do regular high school. I went to school for something I loved every day. Do you know how special that time in my life was? Do you understand that was like a God's gift to me? To study the thing that you're gonna do for the rest of your life that makes you happy and not care how you really do in math, not care how you do in English. You just know that I'm gonna get these 98s in this drama and that's what I really care about. And to make that my school and my purpose and to know that I can do it and to watch my brothers do it and just go, it's all a choice. It's all about the work you do. It's hard work pays off. I had to be successful because there's no excuses for me. I knew how to do it. So that's why I say the luckiest guy in the world, my first 48 years, if you can come back as anybody, come back as me. And the reason why I say the first 48 is because after that, my mother died. And after my mother died, everything went to hell.
Yes.
And then I lost 67 people I knew.
I've heard you say the number, and every time I hear you say the number,
It keeps growing.
Up. Yeah,
I just
which
lost
is crazy.
I lost 2 people last week. Yeah. But it teaches you the value of life. You know what I mean? I lost a guy that was the bully in my neighborhood. Me and my brother jumped him every day for like...
So you were the bully in your neighborhood?
No. We had to jump him. He was a big kid, and he used to pick fights with us. So me and Sean used to jump him every summer. It'd be like Rocky and Apollo. The Wayans are gonna fight, Will. And we did this 3 or 4 times. And then the last time Sean went through puberty, he was like, nah, I got this. And Sean Wilbur fought, and he finally won. And
then y'all stayed in touch.
No, then we became really close friends,
Yeah.
and then we had a really bad, dismantling of that friendship. And then we have been talking 20 years, and then I found out he passed. And I immediately called his family, and I said my well wishes, and I don't want to hold hate in my heart because that's holding hurt in my heart. And I just called his brother, called his sisters, I called his kids. And I was like, my condolences, called his girlfriend, just sent my love, right? Because I think that's the healing. And right after I did that, I called another friend of mine that I had a falling out with. And I was like, hey, let's go to lunch.
Is this something you would have done when you were 25 or 30?
What?
Call people?
Yeah, I think I probably would have back then. But then after probably 32, I was like, forget people. I'm tired of people. You get tired of being hurt. You get tired of being disappointed. And so you remove yourself.
What brought you back around?
That death. That Will died, and you realize that you're in your 50s and mortality is a real thing.
Yeah.
And if you can fix it while people are here and enjoy the rest of your time with them, then you should express that and you should do that. But to sit in a bubble and just let things not be okay is not okay. You're not dealing with, it's okay to create boundaries, but don't let the trauma turn you into something that that's not your light.
Whenever I hear someone say something emotionally intelligent like that, I'm like, where'd you get that from?
The Bible.
Really?
I've been reading the Bible the last 6 months of my life. I go on my walks. I listen to James Earl Jones reads me the Bible, which is
really?
dope as because I got Darth Vader reading me the Bible. And it's so dope. It is the dopest thing in the world. And hither thee thus. It's just so fun. And I just do it, and it fills me with spirit. My father told me, before my father died, my father was Joe Witness, I said, what do I do when I miss you? Because I knew he was passing. He said, if you ever miss me, I want you, and he pointed to this Bible. He said, go pick up that Bible and read about me. He said, if you get to know my father, then you'll get to know your father. And I didn't understand what he meant, but I started missing my dad. And I started reading that Bible, and he was so right. My father was everything in that book.
Really?
Absolutely. He was a wonderful dude. That book gave my father all of the guidelines, the rules of how he navigated his life.
And you open it up again and just saw him again.
And it's helped me. And that's why I'm into forgiving people, right? Why am I going to hold on to that? If Jesus can forgive people he's being crucified and he's asking God for forgiveness for them, for they know not what they do, then why as humans can't we exercise that same strength? That is not weakness. That is complete strength and humility. And that's how I want to live my life. That's how I want to govern myself.
So where do you look for your mother?
You
look for your father in the Bible.
Oh,
Where do
my
you look
father
for
in
your
the
mother?
Bible. My mama was like, Negro, I'm in every book. There's God in every book, and there's mama in every book. And she right. I pick up green eggs and ham to read to my daughter. And what is ham spelled backwards? Ma. And her last name was Green. That was she's everywhere, man. My mother and my father are omnipresent. And I feel like they're just protecting me, guiding me, and lifting me.
Your older brothers, Keenan and Damon, are kind of the family, the people who break your family into Hollywood. Late 80s, I think.
Yep.
And they're much older than you are. Do you kind of remember life like before them making it?
Yeah, they were still my big brothers. Damon was a mess. Damon was always in trouble, so they sent him to Job Corps in Kentucky. And see, when you're the baby, and Keenan was like going to college and he went to Tuskegee. You just know as the kid, as the baby, there's these, you see legs.
Yeah,
They
they
go
were
in and
legs
out
to
your
you.
life. You see legs and shapes. You don't really see, you remember people, but you don't remember them like that. You remember moments. Keenan was smart enough. He'd take us to a movie. Keenan would take us to the park. Keenan would go race with us, or he would do something. He'd buy us a bike. Keenan was a magical big brother. But all I remember is legs and things happening, but I don't know everything about every story because I'm so busy living my story with Sean. Me and Sean had the same story. So we're these two little guys, and all we see is legs. And I knew Damon got in a lot of trouble. I knew Elvira was pregnant young. I knew Deidre was pregnant young. I knew Vonnie cut school a lot. I knew Nadia had a loose eye, and it was just, there was just things. And so, yeah, I remember my life before the fame, and I remember the same happy that we continued to have.
So it didn't change.
It didn't change. It only got greater. The happiness. People say money changes you. It didn't change us at all. We had a wonderful time. I would say for maybe 25 years, that was, a beautiful run. Like fame just, it allowed us to laugh louder, to eat better, to enjoy each other, and and then we started working together, and it was like, oh my God, this is life. This is amazing. This is everything that we dreamed to be. And then you get older, and people start getting on your nerves. And then then
Is that what happened?
Life
No,
happens.
is the getting on each other's nerves?
Well, you definitely get on each other's nerves, but it's also we dream different, right? Me and my brother Sean, who's like this, we did everything together. Like his frame of reference was my frame of reference.
Yeah.
We wasn't Marlon and Sean. My father would call us Marlon and Sean. So much so, Sean got a son. His middle name is Marshawn. I have a son. My son's name is Sean. Oh. Sean has a son. His son's name is Marlon. So that's how close me and Sean were in our childhood. But even though we stay up at night, my mother would send us to bed, and we would immediately turn on The Honeymooners. We wasn't sleeping until 11:30. In New York, The Honeymooners came on at 11:30. Me and Sean was going to watch an episode of The Honeymooners because we were studying. Because we was always like, yeah, when we get our own show, imagine the audacity of these two 5 and 6-year-olds going, when we have our own show.
For the record, you guys did have your own show.
We did.
Yeah.
We manifested that.
But hold on, you were saying something about being close to Sean at a certain point.
We just got older, and Sean was like, we got to do it this way. And I was like, but that's not how I want to do it. I want to do it that way. Everything we started doing is just like, I wanted to go to college. Sean was like, yo, just come out to California and get on Living Color. I was like, I don't want to. I love y'all. But you guys are a lot, and I don't want to be just Wayans. I want to go find Marlon. So I went to Howard for like 2 years, and only to find...
In Living Color on the air.
I was in Living Color's brother at Howard University. I was. And understand, when that show came on, everybody scattered like roaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it must have been crazy.
And as soon as everybody back in, they talk about the episode. It was a wonderful time. And then eventually I went out to California. But I wrote my brother a long letter before I left. I had this thing where I used to write my brothers long letters to express myself. And I told him, I have to go for me. This ain't about you. I love you. I'll see you soon. And this may be a mistake in your eyes, but I have something I have to get there. I don't know what. And so I went back to school only to probably 6 months later, joined in Living Color. I got more money, and then I joined in Living Color. And then, but even then, I used to dream about one day getting an Oscar. And he was like, for what? And I was like, bro, because I was supposed to do the Richard Pryor movie. He was like, what do you want to win an Oscar for? That's dumb. Why do you want to play a comedian and do a drama about a comedian? I was like, because I went to performing arts high school, and that's what I dreamed to do. I went to PA. If you don't always grow together, you kind of grow apart. But in my family, there's always this boundary, and there's always this orb, and there's always this thing that we will always be connected, and we'll always work again together.
You worked basically the whole time. Sean seemed like he stepped away.
Well, it's not that he stepped away. We dream different. And I have such a profound respect for somebody's personal journey. We wanted to be two different types of famous. Sean don't want to be worldwide, this on over here and over there. Sean like, I want to chill with my kid. I want to hang out. I want to, go to Hawaii and maybe sleep. I want to, Sean, when you go on vacation, Sean's like, yeah, I could sleep here. I'm like, sleep? I'm up. We went to Mykonos. He probably slept. He had the best sleep of his life, 18 hours. I was in Mykonos. I probably slept 2 hours a night.
Yeah.
But we're just different. And what you learn as you get older is in order to protect boundaries, you have to respect boundaries. And I only want for my big brother what my big brother wants for himself, and whatever dream he ever has, then that's what he will accomplish. And he's always been like that. He's manifested everything he wanted to do, and he's also manifested his peace. And so I think that's a wonderful thing, and I can't wait to maybe one day, I'm waiting for it, I don't know if it's gonna happen, one day that I'll search for that kind of peace. And but until then, I'm on a grind.
Is that the story? Because Keenan too, at some point, seemed like he stepped back.
Keenan, I'm tired. You go ahead and do that. I'm tired. But I was telling Sean, I was like, but that's how he raised us. He raised me to do this. I want them to be tired. I want my brother to chill out. Just the same way he took care of us when we was little. I want my brother to do less so I can do more, so he can enjoy his time chilling. I want one day when I'm ready to chill, I hope my kids is ready to pick up this baton and do it with the same tenacity that I'm doing it right now.
In Living Color, you mentioned the show that you had with Sean.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 90s, so I can remember what In Living Color felt like. I can remember what your sitcom felt like. I think at the time, if you would ask me, I would have been like, this man will be on TV once a week for the rest of my life. In 98. I think that's what I would have said.
I tried that, but the networks had a whole nother idea.
So what happened? Yeah, what happened?
That was your dream and mine, but it was like, he could be on for 2 years and he got to go. They don't let him on for 5 years. He had to go again. Then we're going to give him a long hiatus. But,
So was there something about TV that changed, or something about your career that changed?
No. Everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. I haven't stopped working.
No. I mean, not at all. I just was like I said, I think at one point it would have felt like, okay, he's going to create TV shows.
And I probably would have. When I did, after we did Wayans Brothers, I wanted to do more TVs, but I was doing movies. And see what happens with TV is, they have their agenda of things that they want. And I've never been that kind of artist where, you're going to I could be casted in anything. When I do TV and I'm doing something every week, I want to do something that feels good to me. I want to be the visionary. I want to create it. When I did my show Marlon, it was the best time of my life. I know every week I'm going to be funny. I know it. Why? Because I have the control to do it. I know the audience. I know where the jokes are. I know the stories. I lived that story. It was very painful for me. But here's what's funny about it. This is what I do with my life. I like to take the things that hurt me and go, what's funny about that? And it's a gift. And so maybe my hiatus from television has been that I don't think the studios and the networks, and I don't think they understand that for artists like me, when they go, what do you want to do? You let him go do what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. I don't need all the other stuff. I just need what do you want to do? This. Da, 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 da. When Keenan did Living Color, it's like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
He was like, this. When you get to that level of an artist, you don't try to tell the artist what to do. You allow the space. And
you feel like people were telling you what to do.
No, I feel like I don't want to be just casted in a TV show. I feel like, I felt like for the past 15 years, we've been in a recession in terms of comedy. I think people are scared. I think executives are scared. Like, you can't say that. You can't say this. And I'm like, you're right. You can't, but I can. Why makes you think that you can? Because I do it every weekend on a stage. Go check my tour schedule. I have not come off tour in 15 years. I know when and how to make an audience laugh with dark stuff. Do it all the time. You're afraid to. You're going to lose this. You're afraid of cancel culture. I know that cancel culture don't exist. Those is a bunch of sensitive-ass people that ain't going to watch my show anyway. So you want to be canceled by the culture that don't embrace what you do. But you got to make the noise so you turn their head and go, what are these other people laughing at?
This feels like a great moment to mention Scary Movie 6.
Yeah.
Coming soon. Are we saying the 6?
Oh, we're just saying Scary Movie.
Okay.
It's a rebranding. It's the rebootable.
Yeah. Well,
There's a
I
reboot
feel like
and a sequel.
I feel like I've seen people talk to you like you made 5 of them before.
We only made 2. This is our 3rd one.
Yeah, exactly.
So we forget the other 3.
So
we don't count.
So
that's why we was just like, we're doing a Scary Movie again.
Super successful.
Yeah.
2, even more successful.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
God. Everything is God, man. Or the devil. And then
in this case, the Weinstein brothers
it was,
are the devils?
It's they didn't want to make the deal, and they wanted to pay for the jokes, and so we was like, okay, and then they went a step another way, and we probably could have sued and all that, but that's not me and my family work. I'm not gonna sit there in negativity. This is about when we do it out of love. We do it because we're having fun. We do it because, we don't let the business get in the way of the creative. And I'm not going to sit there and hold tight to, what we could do. And vengeance is God's, right? And when you live your life like that, once again, I'll go back to the Bible, vengeance is God's. I had to do nothing except me and my brothers walk away and go create new things like White Chicks and Little Man, and I created a haunted house which wound up rivaling Scary Movie 5 and, burying it. And, we did our own, but that wasn't intentional. That's just what kind of happened. And then
just happened to get buried, by your movie.
And then but it wasn't intentional. I was just going out to make a movie. They was trying to be intentional to go up against the movie I was creating because that's just sometimes how they ran their business. And vengeance is God's, man. They haven't had one company taken from, but 2 companies, and that's not my doing. That's their karma for the things that they've done. All I'm gonna do is go make a movie, and when we do the new Scary Movie, I'm not doing this to spite nobody. I'm doing this because we created it, we love it, and we just want to make the world laugh again. I want this movie, more so than funny, I want it to feel good. I want us to feel, you keep referencing the 90s, and you think that feeling, you reference childhood, that feeling of, man, we are here to have a good time. We're here to laugh. We're here to make fun of each other, but it's in jest and it's with love. And that's what me and my family have done. We did it with Living Color. We did it with Don't Be a Menace. We've done it with White Chicks. We can take and make fun of a group of people, and the people we're making fun of, they laugh the loudest. That's called a good joke.
Was it painful to watch other people make your franchise?
Oh, it was like watching your child become a crackhead. It was just like, but you gotta let them. They gotta go get that crack. They gonna learn. They gonna learn sooner or later. When they do, Tech down the TVs. I'm still here. We gonna be here when they're ready to come home. But tech down the TV. But we let it go. It wasn't like when it came out. We didn't even see the movie.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when I did part 6. We didn't look at part 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. Did you try to get the movies back?
There was a point I personally wanted it back because I felt like we weren't done yet. I felt like, there's so many more stories to tell. There's so much more to do with Cindy, Shorty, Ray, and Brenda. I felt like, because I did the Haunted House franchise, I was like, I had I was reinvigorated. I was like, no, what if I could do that? And it eluded us, and then a couple of executives over there at Miramax, and, I tried to tell my agents about it. It's like, it's gone another way. I'm like, how's my project gone another way? And then, John Glickman, and I'm always gonna give up, there was a point where executives, and especially when it comes to the Wayanses, you need an executive that's willing to, and I don't know, it's a weird way to say it, pull their big hairy balls out and go, yo, fuck it. We're taking a shot and we're doing this. I'm risking it all and I'm doing this. when Keenan did In Living Color, it was, who was running Fox when Keenan did In Living Color? The name just ran by me. I know who it is, but can I get my phone? I have to call Keenan. Ivory. When you did In Living Color, Barry Diller was the guy that was the one was like, we're going for it. It was him and Chernin, right? Chernin came on afterward. All right, got you. Love you.
So you were saying, basically, it takes an executive, I'm not going to say the next part, but it takes an executive with some courage.
It takes an executive with some courage to make these decisions, to willing to risk it all, because your job's on the line, to trust somebody's instinct, which means you're trusting your instinct. It took so long for A Living Color to get picked up because it was so loud and so crazy, and everybody was scared of it. But those guys was like, there's something here. And it was an explosion. When we did Wayans Brothers, it was like, this is gonna be the flagship show of a brand new network, Wayans Brothers. And they, to their credit, the Weinsteins, Don't Be a Menace. It's a crazy movie about a spoof on hood movies. That one and Scary Movie, they was like, we're gonna do it. They had the balls to do it. And in this case, it was John Glickman that was like,
to get you guys the franchise back.
The only way to do the Scary Movie is to do it with the Wayans. And that was him pulling them.
Do you like your deal better
gonads
this time?
Out, huh?
Do you like your deal better this time?
Do I like my deal better?
Yeah.
I like the whole, not just the deal better. It's never about the deal. I like the company better. I feel like there's people, life is at this point for me where I got to enjoy what I'm doing and I got to enjoy who I'm doing it with. Life is too short to be around people that's going to be yelling and mistreating people and throwing phones, and I don't want to be a part of that. Like, if you can't behave, I don't want to make money with you. I don't want to spend, I'm doing a comedy over here. I can't be around your bad behaviors, bad energy. That juju is rubbing off on me. That's not my spirit. And, I really enjoyed my time working with Jonathan Glickman and Allie and everybody. It's still Miramax.
Yeah.
Just a whole different regime. And it's been a great partnership, a great ride. Everybody over at, it's like full circle. Everybody over at Paramount, Josh, who runs Greenstein, he was over at Weinstein's and was the head of marketing and was made head of marketing in the room on Scary Movie 2. And so Keenan was teaching him how to cut comedy trailers. And he was like an assistant that became like head of marketing because he fired the head of marketing. But now he's, the big chief over at Paramount. And we're all having this great, wonderful experience together. They helped me make a great movie and us make a great movie. And it's one I'm proud of and it feels good.
And Keenan and Sean, who we were talking about before, are both part of it.
Yes.
Was it hard to get them back in the mix?
Well, I mean, initially they came to me to do the movie, and I was like, I can't do it without my brothers. There's no money in the world, there's no situation in the world that I'm never gonna do that with my family. That's my family. So if we can do it, sure, I'm more than happy to. If they want to do it, if they didn't want to do it, I was gonna do it. But
Did you have to talk them into it?
Oh yeah, I had to hypnotize those bastards. But they was like, they were, because there was a lot of, I guess they were holding on to a lot of, maybe some trauma from the experience that they went through, and it was just like,
specifically in regards to this movie or with Hollywood in general?
Well, I think with the movie and Hollywood, their experience, it's been a lot, and so I'm just constantly working. So but they trusted. What the vision, they trusted what I was going to do. And we were able to make a deal that everybody felt good. And it was important for us to bring Anna and Regina back because Shorty and Ray without, Brenda and Cindy, it's the core four. So the movie feels good. It's like one big, the Wayans are working together again. Me and Sean are working together again. Me, Anna, Regina, and Sean are working together again.
This morning I had the thought, I was like, well, if this is possible, is White Chicks 2 possible?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I was talking to Keenan about ideas for White Chicks 2 this morning. So I think it is possible. But I just want to know the world wants to laugh, right? I know the world wants to party.
Are you in a position to do that too, or is it the same thing where you got to go figure out who has it and get it back? And
No, that's just all about choosing the right home for it, and making sure we find the right partnerships and the right feel, and it has to feel good, and we have to be up to the same agenda, and we have to have the same ideas and of what the scope of the movie is and what the budget of the movie is, and but those are easy choices. I think the most important thing for us is to see if the world wants to laugh again. What's beautiful that makes me feel good, or us feel good as a tribe, is I look at the success of a movie like Michael, and I know why that movie did well, because it felt good. You want to dance in the theaters when you're hearing Michael. When you're listening, you remember that time of when Thriller came out and you was in the 6th grade, and man, the nostalgia of that was just, I see why Devil Wears Prada makes money. See, Michael was the beginning of the party, right? That's the music, right? That's the fashion. That's the lifestyle. That's this is all the stuff that we haven't experienced really at a big level since COVID. And hopefully, when Scary comes out, that we bring the laughs, and that we now have everybody kicked off, ready to have a great summer.
Those movies did really well. We talked about it. Scary Movie 1, Scary Movie 2. Do you have a theory about why people love those films so much?
We're a guilty pleasure. People like our brand of humor. People like to laugh. We bring out the 15-year-old and 45-year-old.
I was going to ask what the guilty part was.
It's okay to laugh at a fart joke. It's okay. It's okay to laugh at a guy with a little hand. It's okay. It's okay to laugh at these situations that people are like, oh, should I laugh at that? Sure, you should. It's funny. And here's what's funny about it. Should I laugh at these two black guys in this situation playing white girls? When you flip it, you're able to look at yourselves and be like, oh, wow, that's funny. We are like that sometimes. And we're equal opportunity offenders. When we do a movie like White Chicks, we got the brother chasing the white girl. That's been a big thing in our community. You get Terry Crews, and then he finds out that he's mad when he finds out not that you're a dude, he's mad that you're not white. Like, there's our brand of humor. We're not we're not violent. We do violent things, but we're not violent. We're Looney Tunes. Well, you can push Wile E. Coyote off a cliff, and he's going to his death, and you see that little cloud of smoke, and you laugh. It's Tom and Jerry gets hit over the head with a hammer, and he gets this lump, and you laugh. See, it's how we do things with kids' gloves. We always have. That is our humor. It's not to attack. It's not to hurt. It's not to break down. It's only to make you laugh.
I've heard you say that you feel like parody is like an unappreciated art, right? Am I right about this?
I think it's the hardest movie to write is a parody.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, people don't respect it.
No. And people think comedy's easy. Go for it, bro. Go for it. You see when it's done right. When it's done right, that means they really studied. That means they really worked. Because you got to watch 150 to 200 movies 3 to 4 times each. Some of those movies you're going to watch 20 times before you come up with the concept of what your parody's going to be.
So that's really the process.
Bro, we wrote 750 pages to get 150 pages, to cut it down to 110, to go shoot 135. This is a process. Everything on your page
and you're watching all of it.
Huh?
And you're watching all of it. Are you a fan of the movies? that you're watching?
Some, and some you hate.
Yeah.
But you still got to watch it because you go, oh, but here's what's funny about it. Sometimes the ones that you hate the most are the ones that gift you the most comedy. And you go, oh, that's dope. And sometimes you watch it and you get nothing. Then you rewatch it and go, oh, what about this thing for this character? And for us, it's not about throwing a bunch of stuff together, which is not, it has to make sense. Right? And that's the part that's very hard. It's how do you take all these movies and house it into one movie and still tell a cohesive story with these characters?
In 2000, you could expect people have seen like Scream.
Yep.
I know what you did last summer. But now it feels like the landscape's much more fragmented. You know, I think there's like a substance joke in the trailer for this movie. I'm like, do people know what that is? Like maybe they do, maybe they don't. Like I wonder if it's more challenging to do a movie like this now.
No, I think it's challenging for some. It's very challenging for us. Every parody is a very challenging movie to write. It's not easy, but I know Substance seems like it's random. But when you think about the character that we're doing Substance with, it makes sense. And when you see where the joke goes, you're gonna be like, oh, that's wild. That's wild work, but you're gonna laugh because it's just like, I didn't see that coming. So you're basically using all these different things to set up a joke for our characters.
You're starring in the film.
Yes.
There's a quote. Let me grab it. There's a quote. I've heard you say it more than once. For 20-something years, I've been a star. I'm not content. I want to be a superstar. I want to be one of the 10 guys who get sent the best scripts.
Yeah. Unpack
that for me, if you would.
Well, my whole career has been creating stuff. I've always been the guy that I have to write it, I have to produce it, I have to star in it, I have to do it all. It's very rare that I get like a Requiem for a Dream, or I get an opportunity like him, where Jordan Peele calls you up and goes, hey, do you want to do this dark, psychological horror? And I mean, but for me, I'm probably one. I'm versatile, right? Because I've had to do so much. Because I went to performing arts high school. Because I do stand-up comedy. Because I came from sketch. Because I write parody. Because I've done action. I've done it all. I've played everything from a white chick to a little person to a junkie. I think
that's why I'm surprised at the characterization. Like I look at it and I'm like, white chicks, $100 million movie, scary movie, $100 million movie, little man, 100. Like, I'm like, that's not superstardom?
Everybody's version of superstardom is different, right? I want to be the guy that, I don't care what it is, it's $100 million. Because I know that he's giving me 150% performance in this. And I know that I could follow him to drama, I could follow him to romance, I could follow him into comedies, I could follow him into action. I can follow this actor, this committed. I spend my life every weekend. I work. I'm working to be this thing that I'm not there yet, and it's really coming. I'm not there yet.
Is the obstacle internal, or is there like external stuff that you've had to get past?
It was internal. Internally, I had to do the work. My brother was always telling me you have to be an unstoppable force of nature in order to make it as a black man in this industry. And I was like, I get that. And so that's what I've become. And I work to become an unstoppable force of nature. Because if I showed you my schedule, you would throw up just looking at it. You'd be like, I don't know how somebody's going to do this. And they don't have a weekend off. I haven't had a weekend off in probably a year and a half. Like, I'm just grinding. But you have to do that in order to become this thing that you're working to be, because when you get there, you can't complain about the workload. You just got to show up like it's natural. There's nothing that phases me in terms of the work. I like doing the work. I don't know if you're going to find many people that go, I like to do the work. I like it all. There's not a part that I hate. I love the writing. I love the producing. I love the editing. I love the interviews. I love the travel. I love stand-up. I love it all. I love the specials. I love the audience. I love the fans. I love the fame. I love it all. God brought me here to do something special, and I'm going to do it. Internally, I had to show myself that I can do the acting, the writing, the producing, the drama, the comedy. I have to do a lot of studying. I've logged now 50,000 hours. They say 10,000 hours is, if you log 10,000 hours at anything, you can be considered a professional, considered an expert. I've logged 10,000 hours in 5 different disciplines in our industry, and I'm just ready. And all I need now, it's external, and it's not the audience. See, the audience knows. I was raised in that house. They're like, that guy is amazing. It's the people, it's the industry. It's the people that write the checks. It's the people that, stardom is not just something you do alone. There's a machine that helps you do it. I've been the machine. And my family's been that machine. But when I get with this machine to help this machine, that's when the explosion happens. You go, I see the industry. I see what it is.
And had that always been the goal? I mean, you're talking about dramatic roles, like, you mentioned him, and you were in Air and Respect and On the Rocks, like that, just last 6 years. And then you mentioned Requiem for a Dream, which was, I think, 2000. I think there was a moment then where I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if he's going to do a bunch more of these, and you didn't. Mm-mm. Was that by design or because there was nothing else to do? It
wasn't what, I wasn't chose to do those things. That's not I don't know if it was God, I don't know if it was the universe, I don't know if it was the industry, I don't know if it was, but I didn't get any opportunities to do that. But when I do get the opportunity, every time, I'm gonna knock it out the park. Why? Because I do the work. I dig into the character. As soon as I get that script, I put together that character, I sit in the process, I do the work physically to show up to set so that I can let the material go to become that person that or that character that I'm gonna play. I just do the work. It's the way the industry sees you. And all I want is for them to see me as whatever it is, I'm gonna do the work, I'm gonna wow the audience, I'm always gonna give 150%.
Seth Rogen once told me he thought actually drama was easier than comedy to do. Do you find the same thing?
Seth Rogen is so right. I never thought I would say that about Seth Rogen. No, he's right. It's light years easier.
Really?
Yeah, you know what a comedian does? A comedian, all right, for like drama, right? Drama is really accessing your trauma, right? Accessing your truth. Because then you have to mix your truth with the character's truth. But it still has to stem from your emotions, right? Mm-hmm. You as Marlon, what I've been through in my life that can relate or it hasn't relate, but how would I react in that situation? What are some things that help connect me to this situation that the character is going through? There's no performing. In a drama, if you're performing, you're overacting. In a drama, you gotta be still. You have to search. It's internal. You have to search you have to open up this safe in your heart. Comedians, right? Something happens to me that's traumatic. The first thing I do is go, what's funny about this? That's been my life. Soon as my parents died, I said, what's funny about this? And I did a special called Good Grief. And I took this thing, the most painful thing I ever been through in my life, and I did a beautiful special that was absolutely hilarious. And then that point in that special, minute 57, I broke down crying because I didn't realize what I was running from. Then the reality of my parents being gone hit me, and I was like, oh, wow. But I locked that away, and I went back to the jokes. Now, when you do a drama, that's the beauty of comedy, is I take my pain and I make you laugh. But that doesn't mean I absolutely heal. That doesn't mean I dealt with the pulp of those emotions. I take those emotions and I put them away in a safe somewhere. And I don't think about it. And then I get the script and it's a drama. And I get to go access those things that you didn't deal with. And then you could let those things out. And then you feel the power of all that you did not deal with. You could do it in therapy, you can do it in prayer, you could do it, but until you actually emote and let that out, and that's what we do as comedians. That's why great comedians make for great actors. Robin Williams, fantastic actor. Why? Because he could make you laugh and cry in the same scene. Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy, those the guys, Richard Pryor. The more trauma you got and the funnier you are after the trauma, the better dramatic actor you can be.
You've also taken that trauma toward your stand-up, which is like more and more personal every year.
Every year.
As far as I can tell.
Layers of an onion, bro.
You went from talking about your parents and your grief around that to it's a special. You're touring but haven't recorded.
I haven't recorded the special yet.
Yeah, which is about one of your kids.
Yeah, the transition.
Yeah,
but it's not their transition. It was my transition.
Right.
Going from denial to acceptance and the 5 stages of grief that I went through in order to get there. See, it doesn't sound like a comedy. It sounds like a drama. But I put dramatic structure under my comedies because as a writer, that's what I've learned from writing. Every comedy I write has some kind of dramatic structure. So you have that dramatic structure, and for me, that's the heart. And it's like a great sitcom. In every great sitcom, 22 minutes long, there's like a minute of heart. So in every great special, I try to go, I need 2 minutes of heart.
But it's your life. It's more than 2 minutes. It is.
But most of it is joke. Oh, that's crazy. I can't believe he said that. But it's just the truth, and it's the jokes, and it's different sides, and it's all the stuff that I didn't deal with. And then, how do you feel?
Have you ever considered writing a movie as personal? Because I think of your stand-up as very personal. And then I don't always see the personal side of you in your films as much. You ever consider writing a film sort of as personal as the stand-up stuff?
Absolutely. I have one that I'm actually crafting in my head right now that's very personal. And, but see, I don't know. I just think that when I do comedies, I like them really broad and entertaining and not, I don't know. I guess I don't want to not bore the audience, but I know their level of expectation when it comes to me doing a comedy, and so I try to lay off dramedy. But I think if I can make one just for myself, even, but I have one in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And will you record the special that you're touring now? Will that be something that people can watch?
Yeah, that's the plan. I think I wanted to film it. I think I'm going to film it Pride Month. I'm looking forward to it.
Because you've been doing it for a while.
I've only been doing it for 2 years.
Okay. To me, that's a while, but maybe not.
Well, it's a while. Some guys tour material for like 10 years, bro. Okay. But in the meantime, I have like 3 new sets, and as soon as I do that one, I know that one. So sometimes when I'm on tour now, I just do a whole nother hour.
Something about it is still like you're still working something out.
Every time I work it, I find something new.
Yeah.
I recently had Chappelle came and saw it when I was in Dayton. He goes, man, it's powerful. It's powerful, man. He's like, that's powerful. And I was just like, he's like, that was a beautiful set. And when a goat like Dave tells you that, you feel good. So, especially when it's about my trans child.
On that beautiful note, we started by me asking you about that line, if anybody could be reborn as you. Mm-hmm. And then you said, look, it was up till 48 true, rough 5 years.
Yep.
Where are we now? Should we hope to be reborn as Marlon Wayans?
I'll tell you June 6th. That's when the day after Scary Movie comes out. Okay. If not, then you should be Michael. Okay. On Meryl Streep. And honestly, I will say this. I would say even me at 53, if I could have anybody come back, if I could come back as anybody, I'd probably come back as me. Because even though I went through all that I went through, and only God knows what I went through, to come out of that and know that and have my relationship with God intact, and even though my parents are gone, to hear their whispers. And for me, that my father told me before he passed, said, you and your brother should work together again. I was like, Pop, I don't know, man. New Edition keep breaking up. It's hard for 5 black men to do anything together. 4 tops, man. There's only 3 of them left. And he was like, yeah, but you guys do magic together. I said, Pop, we dream different. I'm at this point in my life, I want to do this. Yeah, I know, Sean, but magic y'all do. I said, all right. He said, for me. I looked at my dad on that hospital bed. I said, all right. I said, for you. He said, you promise? I said, yeah, I promise. Just shake on it. And he knows me. And he knows if he asks me to do something that I, as his baby boy, I honor my father, I honor my mother. And so I think this movie is special. I think my dad seen that the world needs to laugh again, not just me and my brothers to laugh together again, but the world to come together in a theater and to just go have a good time and to bring that nostalgic feeling of laughter and comedy back, because you all go through so much hardships in life, and it's good to have those moments where you release and those happy, healthy endorphins. It doesn't always have to be tears. Laughs are necessary, and we haven't had them in a long time, and I just hope that, this brings back comedy.
If anybody can.
It's up for Seth Rogen. Which one? Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.